Have the lambs stopped screaming, Clarice? I don't know why I'm doing that. I don't know why that image ended up being today's thing. What's going on with that there, huh? I don't know. Howdy! Hi, Rich Sad. Hi, Scotty Beam Me Up and C. Grover. Thomas Veach over on YouTube asks how much I'm going to cost him this week. That's up to you. Hi, Gary Z. Hey, Oats and Honey, Mike P. Nice to see you all. And here we are. It is time for another JP's product pick of the week. That's me, JP. And I've got a cool product for you this week. What I like to do is first send you to a place. Head to this magical URL. This is product ID 2923. So you can head there always by going to adafruit.it/ and then the product ID number 2923. Hey, Trout SGG. Nice to see you over there on YouTube. Hey, Badabi. Getting ready for the next Ada box unboxing? I am mentally preparing. Yes, emotionally, physically. It's true. So let's see, what do we got? Yeah, head to this URL because that's going to take you to the product page where this week's product is 50% off. What a bargain. And we usually do a maximum of 10 per person when we have these great prices going, half price in this case. No resellers, and it is good during this show only, during the time frame, this block of this right here live stream. Once it's over, it's over. No special secret code to type in or anything like that. You just buy it at a reduced price if you like it. So how do you know if you like it? Well, the first tool in my tool belt for giving you the choice, giving you the information so you can make an informed choice is to have Lady Ada tell us about it. So let's jump back in time a little bit. Lady Ada, take it away.
Yay, two exciting new feathers.
Yeah, feathers.
It's twinsy feather time, brother and sister, or maybe two sisters. We have the non-latching relay FeatherWing and then the latching relay FeatherWing. Yeah. And these are two mini relays. They're not going to turn on and off your fridge. They're for 60 watts or less of power. And check out the data sheet for the derating and you know what current requirements you have. But for a lot of stuff, like maybe you want to switch solenoids that use AC power, or you're controlling like a doorbell ringer or like a small motor or a small appliance. Actually, a lot of stuff is pretty low power these days. If you want to turn on and off your DVR or your Wi-Fi router, that will probably be under 60 watts. So that's a perfectly fine use of this relay wing.
And there's two, but there's latching
and there's non-latching.
Non-latching. Can you spot the difference? Sort of?
Well, they're a little bit different. I'll explain the difference because I personally really like latching relays, but they're a little bit more complicated to use. So a non-latching relay is what most people think of when they think of a relay. So the latching relay FeatherWing, you see it has two pins, set and unset. So instead of having a single pin, it actually has two pins. And the reason it has two pins is unlike the, you want to put me like in the relay?
I'm going to put you in the relay.
Okay.
Whoops.
Okay, sweet. So unlike the normal relay FeatherWing where you have to have the, hi, I'm inside, relay. Click, clack, click, clack, instead of having the pin high and the relay closes, and then when it's released, it's open, because every time you have the relay coil activated, it's drawing 50 milliamps. That coil takes a lot of current to keep on. The latching relay, what you do is you just pulse the pin high for 10 milliseconds. So you turn set high for 10 milliseconds and you can drop it low, and then it will click on, and there's a little plastic piece that latches it in place. So whatever you set it to, it'll stay that way even if power is lost, even if you don't have the coil activated, so you can set and unset. And that's good when you are running on battery power, so you want to have a lot less current drop. You don't want to have to hold the relay open. And if you don't care, if you want it so when power is lost, it can stay in the last state. Like for safety, you might want like a relay FeatherWing connected to a lamp or a heater. You might want it if the power's lost or it loses connection with Wi-Fi to automatically turn off. That's something that's a little easier to do with a normal relay. than with a latching relay. But it depends on what you want to do. And again, with a latching relay, you need 2 pins, one for setting and one for unsetting. You have to alternate them to turn it on and off.
All right, that sounds pretty convincing. I want to go grab one myself. So let me just head back there to my wonderful and majestic cabinet of mystery drawers. I'll be right back. Yes, there it is, right there. Look at it. That's this week's product pick of the week. It is the latching mini relay FeatherWing. I really like this. So this one is a little fancier in some ways than your typical relay, which is non-latching, which means you send it a control signal and it closes the relay, and then when you're ready to stop sending closing that switch, you have to release that signal, which means the coil is always activated. It means you're going to have to leave the device on that's talking to it, and if there's a failure with that device, then it's going to change its state. So the nice thing about these is that you don't feel like you're kind of constantly pulling that magnetic coil shut, because internally it has a little plastic switch that gets thrown, and it kind of flicks it between on and off, much more like a regular light switch. We don't have to spend energy leaving it in one position or another. And the same is true of this. So it's a FeatherWing. It means it flops right smack dab on top of a feather. And it has a little terminal block that you solder on when you get it. So if you add that terminal block, you don't have to use it. You can solder your power directly to it, but I like to use that. So you solder that on. Generally, you just need 2 wires going into it. In the center, in the common wire, you have the essentially the line that you're trying to open and close. So one side of your power, if it's AC or a DC source coming through. And the other is sort of where it's headed off to, and that can be either the normally closed or the normally open side of that. So let me show you one that I've got right here in action. I'm going to drop down to this little down shooter right here. And let's, I'll go ahead and get in the corner there. So here you can see I've taken the FeatherWing, I've put it on this little feather tripler here. So I've got a Feather RP2040 controlling things. I have a little OLED FeatherWing that has a couple buttons on it, just so we can see a display and use some buttons pretty easily. And then you'll see right here with the latching FeatherWing, what I've got, let me move that so you can see it there. What I've got are my power source coming in. So actually I have a 24 volt power source that powers a ring light. I'll show you that in a second. The power comes from essentially the transformer, the wall transformer, to the FeatherWing. And then when the FeatherWing is closed, it will send that power along and over to the device that I'm trying to control. You'll also notice that since this one uses one control signal, essentially a digital pin on our microcontroller, to close the relay and a different one to reopen it, we have 2 wires here that we need to wire up before we use this. So these are the set and the unset controls. And I have them, in this case, run on, I think it's pin D11 and 10 is what I chose. We can look at that in code in a second. So you have a little bit of soldering to do there. I used a pretty big, obvious wire there so we can see it. And in fact, I don't think I soldered those in on one side. I think those are just shoved in. So hopefully it doesn't cause any issues for it. So to see it in action now, what I'm going to do is, you can see here it says mini latching relay. If I press A, that closes the relay, and you can see the big glow on my face and around the edges of the frame there. It's because it's just lit up this big, powerful ring light. And then I can press a different button here to change that state. You could program that to be a single button if you want. So this is latched closed in the closed position, and then this is latched open. And like I said, if we put this into the latched closed position, it is going to stay there even if I kill power to this whole little setup. So I'm going to yank the power going to my feather, that means that this is not energized. It's not staying closed by virtue of a magnetic coil. It's staying closed because it has this little internal mechanism, a mechanical switch. And when I power it back up, it doesn't change the state of it. And this is not the case with a typical relay. It will change as you power, unpower it if it had been in the energized position. So now I can go put this in the open position, so there's no power running through it. And again, when I unplug and replug, we don't see any change in state there, which is pretty darn cool. To show you what this gizmo is, you can see I have a pretty large scale. Let me change that focus there for you. Wrong way, a little better, okay. So here you can see I've got my little latching relay connected to my feather. This is the ring light that has a 24 volt power adapter coming from wall power, AC to DC, 24 volt, but we could use AC with this if we wanted to. This is all in the sort of turned on position and color temperature's been preset. So now when I tell my relay to power it, it lights it up just as if we had plugged it into the wall. And then I can latch that open or closed. So that, let me show you in code how that works. I'll refocus here just because it's fun to look at that there. Is gonna look like this. So let me jump over to Adam here. This is in CircuitPython. You could also use this with Arduino if you wanted to, but I'm running it in CircuitPython. So I'm importing some libraries here, and really for using the latching relay FeatherWing, all we really need is some digital I/O. So that's the critical line there, to be able to send a control signal on either pin D11 or D12. Actually, those are the two that I'm using in my code here, but any two digital control signals that can go from 0 to 3 volts would be enough. 5 is fine as well, I believe. Then I'm setting up some stuff for having my display and using my little FeatherWing, OLED FeatherWing here, setting up the buttons that are on board there. This is the key part for my, my relay though. I have a pin, I'm using pin D11 that I'm setting as an output pin, and D12 as an output pin, and those are connected to those onboard set and unset pins there. Then in my main code here, when I press a button, what I'm doing is setting a pin to high. So I'm setting, in this case, the set pin value to true, pausing for a little millisecond there, and then I'm turning it back off. So all you need to do is pulse this. You don't have to have a constant signal to it, so I chose to do it that way. It wouldn't hurt it if you had it constant. But here it just pulses that digital pin for a moment, pulses that other digital pin for a moment, and it sends it between closed and open. So that is the basics of using it. It's really simple. As long as you know how to blink an LED, you could do this, of course, in code. This doesn't have to be based on a button press. We could have this thing blinking for us. And in fact, let's just for a little fun bonus, we can do that on the fly here. So what I'll do is just change this code around a little bit here, and how about we say set pin value equals true times sleep, how about 3/4 of a second, so 0.75, set, let's do the unset pin value equals true, and actually I'll toggle these, so let's do the set pin value equals false. There's more elegant ways you could do that, but I'm gonna be real heavy-handed about it here. Again, time sleep, about 1 second for this, so it's a little bit of an uneven, and then we'll reset that. So this will go to false. All right, that looks plausible. I'm going to resave the code here, and oh, let's see if it's unhappy with me. What did I do? Let's open up screen. Oh, I've got that great underlighting on me there. Digital no has no object value. What? What? Oh, capital V. That's why. There we go. So here's the little guy in action there. Let's go to a full screen of that. Okay, so you probably wouldn't want to blink this hundreds of thousands of times, but since it's a mechanical relay and not something solid state. But here you can see that with the little mechanical relay controlling power running to my ring light here, which is a, let me turn that off, that's enough of that, which is a wall power type of device, we get the ability to control something with much, much higher voltage and current needs than we could do with just the microcontroller and a battery. Gussie Goro says, that light is ominous. It is. Let me pull the plug on that. Shoo! All right, so let me know if there's any other questions in the chat, but that is the basics. Oh my gosh, mission accomplished. Someone said it is out of stock now. All right, well, I can stop pushing it, but of course, you can always head to the product page and fill in the little email address. Let me reload this. It'll say it's out of stock. You fill in the little email address, hit notify me, and then you'll get an email when those are back in stock. Unfortunately, you won't get it at this discount price. This discount price is just good now. I don't know how many we had in stock, but hopefully a lot of you are getting your relays headed your way, and you'll have some fun playing with those. Love to see what kind of projects you do with them. Again, you know, there's possibility of doing holiday lighting and lawn type of projects with it. You can use different types of sensors to trip the relay, so things like distance sensors are a lot of fun to put in there. Let's see, any other questions? Sorry, yes, Rufus, that was 10 milliseconds, not 1 millisecond. Thank you for the quick math help. All right, I think that's it. JKD asks, what happens if you set both pins to true? Does one take priority? I don't know. I'll try that out. I'll try that out after the show and let you know what I end up finding out about that. Probably it'll get, someone will win, but whichever one's a little easier for the mechanism to go to, but it'll probably struggle because I believe you're energizing coils on two sides of the thing instead of a spring. So, C. Grover says that was a short relay race because it is out of stock. All right. Thank you everyone for stopping by. So let me throw a little impromptu hanger on here so I can put that up on the wall. That's my product pick of the week this week. It is the Latching Mini Relay FeatherWing. That's going to do it. I will see you on Thursday for the John Parks workshop. I'm also going to be hosting Show and Tell tonight, so if you're interested in coming and bringing something to show, just check out this blog post that'll go up a little, I think in the morning tomorrow and then right before the show, but come by Show and Tell tomorrow evening, and that's going to be at 7:30 Eastern Time. And then there'll be an Ask an Engineer right after that. And I believe we've also got a 3 Hangouts tomorrow morning, but you can check your live broadcast announce and live broadcast chat to double check on those things. All right, thanks everyone. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.